Captain Maria Santos has flown celebrities and millionaires all over Europe. She's handled emergency landings, bad weather, and difficult passengers. Nothing scares her anymore. Until today, when she looks at the passenger list for what should be a simple flight to London, her hands start shaking. 5 names that bring back her worst nightmare. 5 people who were there the night she made the most terrible mistake of her career. The night a little girl died because of her choice. Lewis Hamilton, the famous Formula One driver, is waiting to board. So are a doctor, a nurse, a paramedic, and a police detective. They all know what Maria did 3 years ago in Sao Paulo. They all remember the storm, the failing plane, and the choice that changed everything. Maria can't face them. She won't fly them. She'd rather lose her job than relive that horrible night. But sometimes the truth is more shocking than our worst memories. Captain Maria Santos stared at the paper in her hands. Her fingers shook as she read the 5 names on the passenger list. The cockpit of her private jet suddenly felt too small, too hot. Lewis Hamilton, she whispered, reading the first name. The famous Formula One driver, 7-time world champion. She had watched him race on TV many times. He seemed like a nice man who helped people, but it was the other 4 names that made her heart pound. Dr. Elena Vasquez, James Mitchell, Sarah Chun, Detective Carlos Mendez. Maria closed her eyes and took a deep breath. These names brought back memories she tried hard to forget. Bad memories from 3 years ago. A rainy night in Sao Paulo, Brazil. A night when everything went wrong. Captain Santos, her co-pilot Tom Bradley, looked at her with worried eyes. "Are you okay? You look pale." Maria opened her eyes. Tom was a good man. He had been flying with her for 2 years. He didn't know about that terrible night in Brazil. Nobody knew. "I'm fine," Maria lied. But she wasn't fine. She felt sick to her stomach. Outside the cockpit window, she could see the beautiful Monaco airport. The sun was shining. Rich people's boats filled the harbor. It was a perfect day for flying. But Maria couldn't stop thinking about that stormy night 3 years ago. She remembered the little girl, Isabella Rodriguez, only 7 years old. So sick. Her heart was failing. The doctors said she would die without surgery. Maria had been flying for Medevac International then. It was her dream job. She saved lives by flying sick people to hospitals. She loved helping people. She thought she was a hero. Until that night when she learned she wasn't a hero at all. "Captain, we need to start the pre-flight check," Tom said. "The passengers will be here soon." Maria looked at the passenger list again. These people were all there that night. They all saw what happened. They all knew the truth about Maria Santos. Dr. Vasquez was the heart surgeon. She was supposed to save Isabella's life. James Mitchell was the paramedic who kept Isabella alive on the plane. Sarah Chun was the nurse who held Isabella's hand. Detective Mendez was there because Isabella's case was complicated. They all knew Maria had failed. They all knew she made the wrong choice. "I can't do this," Maria said quietly. "Can't do what?" Tom asked. "I can't fly these people." Maria stood up fast. Her chair rolled backward. "Get them off the plane." Tom looked confused. "What?" "Captain, we're cleared for takeoff. The weather is perfect." "What's wrong?" "I said get them off." Maria's voice was louder now. "I'm not flying today." "But Captain, no." Maria pushed past Tom and headed for the cockpit door. "Find another pilot." "I'm done." Tom grabbed her arm gently. "Maria, what's going on? You're scaring me." Maria stopped. Tom was her friend. He deserved to know something. But how could she tell him? How could she explain that she was the pilot who killed a little girl? "There was an accident," Maria said quietly. 3 years ago. These passengers, they were all there." "What kind of accident?" "The kind that ruins lives," Maria said. "The kind that proves some people shouldn't be pilots." Through the window, Maria saw a black car pull up to the plane. A man got out. He was wearing jeans and a simple t-shirt. It was Lewis Hamilton. Even from far away, she could see he looked tired. Maria knew why Hamilton was flying with the others. She had read about his charity work. He started a foundation to help sick children. He was a good man who wanted to make the world better, but Maria wasn't good. She was the woman who failed when it mattered most. "Captain Santos," Tom said, "I've been flying with you for 2 years. You're the best pilot I know. You care about people. You double-check everything. What could have happened that was so bad?" Maria watched Hamilton walking toward the plane. He looked determined, like he was going somewhere important. "I made a choice," Maria said. I thought I was being brave, but I was wrong. And a little girl died because of me. Tom's eyes went wide. Maria, that's not. Yes, it is, Maria said. And now these people are here. They all remember. They all know what I did. Hamilton was at the bottom of the airplane steps now. He looked up at the cockpit window. For a moment, their eyes met. He smiled and waved. Maria felt like she might throw up. I have to go, she said. Tell them the flight is canceled. Tell them to find another pilot. Maria, wait. But Maria was already leaving the cockpit. She walked quickly through the passenger area of the plane. The seats were empty, but she could imagine the people who were supposed to sit there. The people who knew her secret. She walked down the airplane steps. Hamilton was right there, waiting for her. Captain Santos, he said. His voice was kind. I'm Lewis Hamilton. Thank you for flying us today. Maria couldn't speak. She just stared at him. Are you all right? Hamilton asked. You look upset. I can't fly you, Maria said quickly. I'm sorry. You'll need to find another pilot. Hamilton looked surprised. Is there something wrong with the plane? No, Maria said. There's something wrong with me. Before Hamilton could ask more questions, Maria ran toward the terminal. She needed to get away from the plane, away from the memories, away from the truth. Behind her, she heard Hamilton calling her name. But she didn't stop running. In the terminal, Maria found a quiet corner and sat down. She pulled out her phone and called her boss, Mr. Richards. Maria, what's going on? He said. Hamilton's people are calling. They say you won't fly. I can't do it, Maria said. You need to send another pilot. You're the only one available today. This is a big client. Don't mess this up. I'm sorry, Maria said. I just can't. She hung up the phone and put her head in her hands. For 3 years, she had been running from that night in Sao Paulo. She thought she could forget. She thought she could move on. But seeing those names on the passenger list brought it all back. The storm, the little girl, the choice she made, the choice that changed everything. Maria looked up and saw Hamilton walking into the terminal. He was looking for her. Behind him were 4 other people. Dr. Vasquez, James Mitchell, Sarah Chun, and Detective Mendez. They all looked older than she remembered. But she knew their faces. She would never forget their faces. They were coming toward her. There was nowhere to run. After 3 years of hiding, Maria Santos was about to face the people who knew her biggest secret. The secret that would destroy her life if anyone ever found out. Maria closed her eyes as the 5 people walked toward her. She could feel her heart beating fast. Too fast. She tried to think of somewhere to run, but there was nowhere to go. Captain Santos. It was Lewis Hamilton's voice. Kind and worried. Can we talk? Maria opened her eyes. Hamilton was standing in front of her. The other 4 people were right behind him. They all looked at her with strange expressions. Not angry. Not mean. Just curious. I know you. Dr. Elena Vasquez said quietly. She was a small woman with dark hair. You're the pilot from Sao Paulo. From that night, James Mitchell added. He was tall and strong, like all paramedics. 3 years ago, Sarah Chun stepped forward. She was a tiny woman with gentle eyes. You flew us through the storm. Detective Carlos Mendez nodded. The Rodriguez case. Maria felt like she couldn't breathe. They all remembered. They all knew what she had done. I have to go, Maria said. She tried to stand up, but her legs felt weak. Please, Hamilton said. Can we just talk for a minute? You don't understand, Maria said. I'm not the person you think I am. Who do you think we think you are? Dr. Vasquez asked. Maria looked at all of them. The pilot who killed Isabella Rodriguez. The 5 people looked at each other. Then they looked back at Maria. They seemed confused. What? Hamilton said. But Maria was already lost in her memories. She couldn't stop thinking about that terrible night. 3 years ago, Sao Paulo, Brazil, emergency flight request. The radio crackled. 7-year-old girl, heart failure. Needs immediate transport to Hospital das Clínicas. Maria had been eating dinner in the break room at the small airfield. She was tired. It had been a long day. But when children needed help, she never said no. I'll take it, she told the dispatcher. The weather outside was getting bad. Dark clouds filled the sky. Rain was starting to fall. But Maria had flown in bad weather before. She was a good pilot. She could handle it. 30 minutes later, the ambulance arrived. Maria watched them carry a tiny girl from the ambulance to her plane. The little girl was so pale, so small. Machines were keeping her alive. Dr. Elena Vasquez climbed into the plane. She was young then, maybe 28 years old. She had just finished her medical training. This was one of her first emergency cases. How long to the hospital? Dr. Vasquez asked Maria. 25 minutes if the weather holds, Maria said. Maybe 30 if it gets worse. James Mitchell, the paramedic, was working on the little girl. He was checking her heart rate, her breathing. She's getting weaker, he said. We need to hurry. Sarah Chun, the nurse, sat next to the little girl. She held her tiny hand. What's your name, sweetheart? She asked softly. Isabella, the little girl whispered. Her voice was so quiet Maria could barely hear her. I want my mama. We're going to take you to see the doctors, Sarah said. They're going to help you feel better. Detective Carlos Mendez was there too. He explained to Maria why a police officer was on a medical flight. The girl's family is very poor, he said. Her father works 3 jobs to pay for her medicine. Some people are saying the family might be getting money from bad people. What kind of bad people? Maria asked. Drug dealers, Mendez said. But that's not important right now. What matters is saving the girl. Maria nodded. She didn't care about the family's problems. She just wanted to save Isabella. The plane took off into the storm. At first, everything was okay. The rain was heavy, but Maria had flown in worse weather. Isabella was stable. Dr. Vasquez was monitoring her heart. But then the storm got much worse. Lightning filled the sky. The wind pushed the small plane around like a toy. Rain hit the windows so hard Maria could barely see. How much longer? Dr. Vasquez asked. She looked scared. 15 minutes, Maria said. But she wasn't sure they would make it. The radio crackled. Flight 247, this is Sao Paulo Control. We're advising all aircraft to land immediately. The storm is getting dangerous. Maria looked at the weather radar. The storm was huge. It covered the whole area. But if they landed now, Isabella would die. Flight 247, do you copy? The radio said again. Maria picked up the radio. Sao Paulo Control, this is Flight 247. We have a medical emergency. A child will die if we don't reach the hospital. Understood, 247. But the storm is too dangerous. You need to land now. Maria, look back at Isabella. The little girl was getting worse. Her breathing was shallow. Her skin was gray. She's crashing, Dr. Vasquez said. We need to get to the hospital now. Captain, James Mitchell said. If we don't get there in the next 10 minutes, we're going to lose her. Maria had to make a choice. Land the plane and wait for the storm to pass. Or keep flying through the dangerous weather. If she landed, Isabella would die. If she kept flying, they might all die. I'm going to keep flying, Maria said. Are you sure? Detective Mendez asked. I'm sure, Maria said. But she wasn't sure at all. The storm got worse. Much worse. The plane shook so hard that Maria thought it might break apart. Lightning struck all around them. The wind tried to push them into the ground. We're not going to make it, Dr. Vasquez said. Yes, we are, Maria said. But she didn't believe it. Then something went wrong with the plane. One of the engines started, making a strange noise. The plane began to lose power. What's happening? Sarah Chin asked. Engine trouble, Maria said. We're losing power. The plane started to fall. Maria pulled back on the controls, but it was hard to keep the plane in the air. We're going down, James Mitchell yelled. Isabella opened her eyes. She looked right at Maria. Am I going to die? She asked. Maria looked at the little girl. She was so brave, so small, so scared. No, Maria said. I promise you won't die. I'm going to get you to the hospital. But even as she said it, Maria knew she was lying. They were all going to die because of her choice. Because she was too proud to land the plane when she should have. The plane fell toward the ground. Maria could see the lights of the city below. She could see the hospital in the distance. So close, but they would never make it. I'm sorry, Maria whispered. I'm so sorry. Back in the present, that's what I remember, Maria said to the 5 people standing in front of her. We crashed. Isabella died. It was my fault. But the 5 people were all looking at her with strange expressions. Not sad, not angry, just confused. Maria, Hamilton said gently, what crash? Maria looked at him. What do you mean? We didn't crash, Dr. Vasquez said. We made it to the hospital. But I remember. Maria started. You got us there, James Mitchell said. It was rough, but you landed the plane safely. Isabella lived, Sarah Chin added. The surgery was successful. Maria felt dizzy. That's not what happened. I remember crashing. I remember everything going wrong. You're wrong, Detective Mendez said. You saved Isabella's life that night. But if that's true, Maria said, then why do I remember it differently? Why do I have nightmares about crashing? Because something did go wrong, Hamilton said. Just not what you think. Maria looked at all of them. What do you mean? After we got to the hospital, Dr. Vasquez said, after Isabella's surgery, that's when everything fell apart. But it had nothing to do with you, James Mitchell said. You did your job perfectly. Then what went wrong? Maria asked. Hamilton sat down next to her. Isabella's father was arrested that night for working with drug dealers. I remember that, Maria said. Detective Mendez told me. But what you don't remember, Hamilton said, is what happened next. Maria waited. The whole city found out. About the story, Saracen said. The little girl who almost died. The pilot who flew through the storm to save her. The doctors who worked all night to fix her heart. You became famous, Dr. Vasquez said. The newspapers called you a hero. But I don't remember any of that, Maria said. Because you left, Detective Mendez said. The day after the flight. You quit your job and disappeared. Nobody could find you. Maria's head was spinning. Why would I leave if I was a hero? That's what we want to know, Hamilton said. We've been looking for you for 3 years. Looking for me? What? Because, Hamilton said, Isabella Rodriguez is alive. And she wants to meet her hero. Maria stared at him. Isabella is alive. Very much alive, Hamilton said. And she's the reason we're all here today. Maria stared at Lewis Hamilton. Her mind was spinning. Nothing made sense anymore. Isabella is alive, Maria said again. She needed to hear it one more time. Yes, Hamilton said. She's 10 years old now. She's healthy and happy. But I remember the crash, Maria said. I remember everything going wrong. Dr. Vasquez sat down on the other side of Maria. Sometimes our minds play tricks on us, she said gently. When something scary happens, we don't always remember it right. Especially when we feel guilty about something, James Mitchell added. He sat down across from them. Even when we shouldn't feel guilty. Sarah Chun and Detective Mendez found chairs too. Now all 6 people were sitting in a circle in the airport terminal. Other travelers walked by, but Maria didn't notice them. She only cared about what these people were telling her. Tell me what really happened, Maria said. Tell me the truth. Hamilton looked at the others. They all nodded. You flew through the worst storm Sao Paulo had seen in 50 years, Hamilton said. Every other pilot in the city had grounded their planes. The airport told you not to fly, Detective Mendez said. But you said a little girl was dying. You took off anyway, Dr. Vasquez said. Even though it was dangerous. The flight was terrible, James Mitchell said. The plane shook so hard. I thought we would fall apart. Lightning was everywhere. Rain hit the windows like rocks. But you kept the plane steady, Saracen said. You got us through it. What about the engine? Maria asked. I remember the engine failing. The 5 people looked at each other again. How did you know about that? Hamilton asked. Know about what? The engine did have problems, Dr. Vasquez said. But we didn't find out until after we landed. The mechanics checked the plane the next day, Detective Mendez explained. One of the engines was losing power during the flight. Maria felt cold. So, I was flying through a storm with a broken engine? And you still got us there safely, Hamilton said. You saved Isabella's life. Maria put her head in her hands. I don't understand. If everything went well, why do I remember it going wrong? Because of what happened after, Sarah Chun said softly. Tell me, Maria said. Hamilton took a deep breath. We got to the hospital with minutes to spare. Dr. Vasquez performed the surgery. Isabella's heart was fixed. She was going to live. Then why was I so upset? Because while Isabella was in surgery, Detective Mendez arrested her father, Dr. Vasquez said. Maria looked at Detective Mendez. I remember that part. Miguel Rodriguez was a good man, Mendez said. But he was desperate. His daughter was dying. And he couldn't afford her medical care. So he made a deal with some bad people, James Mitchell said. Drug dealers. They gave him money for Isabella's medicine. In return, he helped them move drugs around the city. Miguel didn't know how dangerous these people were, Hamilton said. He just wanted to save his daughter. But the law is the law, Detective Mendez said. I had to arrest him. Maria remembered now. She remembered sitting in the hospital waiting room while Isabella was in surgery. She remembered watching the police take Miguel away in handcuffs. Isabella was asking for her. Papa, Saracen said. But he was gone. That's when you broke down, Dr. Vasquez said. You started crying. You said it was your fault. How was it my fault? Maria asked. You said if you had been a better pilot, you would have gotten there faster, Hamilton explained. You said if you had taken off sooner, Miguel wouldn't have had time to make that phone call. Maria frowned. What phone call? While we were flying, James Mitchell said, Miguel called the drug dealers. He told them the police were asking questions about Isabella's medical bills. He was scared they would find out about the deal. The drug dealers told Miguel to run away after Isabella's surgery, Detective Mendez said. They said the police were getting too close. But Miguel refused, Hamilton said. He said he wouldn't leave his daughter. So the drug dealers decided to hurt Miguel, Sarachin said. They sent people to the hospital to teach him a lesson. Maria's eyes went wide. They came to the hospital. While Isabella was in surgery, Dr. Vasquez said. Security caught them before they could do anything. But it was scary. That's when the whole story came out, Detective Mendez said. Miguel told us everything. About the drugs, the money, the threats. And you blamed yourself, Hamilton said. You said if you had been faster, Miguel wouldn't have made that phone call. The drug dealers wouldn't have known about the police investigation. But that doesn't make sense, Maria said. Miguel's choices weren't my fault. Try telling that to yourself 3 years ago, James Mitchell said. You were crying so hard you couldn't speak. The reporters showed up at the hospital, Sarachin said. They wanted to interview the hero pilot who saved Isabella's life. But you ran away. Dr. Vasquez said. You left through the back door of the hospital. Nobody saw you again. Maria was quiet for a long time. She was trying to remember. Slowly, pieces were coming back to her. She remembered the hospital hallway. She remembered Isabella sleeping in her bed after surgery. The little girl looked so peaceful, so alive. She remembered Miguel crying as the police took him away. He kept saying he was sorry. He kept saying he just wanted to save his daughter. She remembered feeling like everything was her fault. If she had been faster, smarter, better, maybe none of the bad things would have happened. I quit my job the next day, Maria said quietly. No, Hamilton said. Your boss tried to give you an award for bravery, but you were gone. Where did you go? Dr. Vasquez asked. I came here to Monaco, Maria said. I got a job flying rich people around. I thought if I stayed away from medical flights, I couldn't hurt anyone else. But you didn't hurt anyone, Sarachin said. You saved Isabella's life. What happened to Miguel? Maria asked. That's a longer story, Hamilton said. But the important thing is that he's okay now. So is Isabella. And they want to see you, James Mitchell said. Both of them, Maria asked. Especially Isabella, Dr. Vasquez said. She talks about you all the time. She says when she grows up, she wants to be a pilot just like Captain Santos. Maria felt tears in her eyes. She wants to be a pilot? She says you're her hero, Hamilton said. She says you flew through a storm to save her life. But I'm not a hero, Maria said. I'm just a pilot who got lucky. Heroes often don't know they're heroes, Sarachin said. They just do what needs to be done. Maria looked around at all of them. Why are you all here together? Why are you flying to London? Hamilton smiled. That's what we came to tell you. We're going to a charity event, Dr. Vasquez said. What kind of charity event? The kind where we announce a new program to help families like Isabella's, James Mitchell said. It's called the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service. Hamilton said. Maria's mouth fell open. What? We're starting a program to provide free emergency flights for children who need medical care, Sarachin explained. And we want you to be the head pilot, Detective Mendez said. Maria couldn't speak. She just stared at them. We've been looking for you for a year, Hamilton said. Ever since we decided to start the program. But I can't, Maria said. I'm not good enough. You flew through a hurricane with a failing engine and saved a child's life, Dr. Vasquez said. If that's not good enough, I don't know what is. A hurricane? Maria asked. That storm 3 years ago, James Mitchell said. It was Hurricane Miranda, the worst storm to hit Brazil in decades. Maria felt dizzy again. I flew through a hurricane, with one engine barely working, Hamilton said. And you got us all home safely. The aviation authorities investigated the flight, Detective Mendez said. They called it one of the most impressive examples of piloting skill they had ever seen. They want to give you an award, Sarachin said. I don't want an award, Maria said. I just want to understand what really happened. What really happened, Hamilton said, is that you're a hero. And it's time you started acting like one. Maria looked at each of their faces. They all believed what they were saying. They all thought she was something special, but Maria still felt confused. If Isabella is okay, and Miguel is okay, why do I have nightmares about that night? Because trauma affects people differently, Dr. Vasquez said. Sometimes our minds change memories to protect us from pain. Your mind created a story where you failed, Hamilton said. Because that felt easier than accepting that you're a hero. That doesn't make sense, Maria said. Being a hero is scary, Sarachin said. It means people expect things from you. It means you have to keep being brave. It's easier to think you're a failure, James Mitchell said. Then nobody expects anything. Maria was quiet for a long time. Then she asked, "Where are Isabella and Miguel now?" "Miguel works for my foundation," Hamilton said. "He helps other families navigate the medical system so they don't have to make the choices he made." "And Isabella?" "She's in school in Sao Paulo," Dr. Vasquez said. "She gets good grades. She takes piano lessons. She's a normal, healthy 10-year-old girl." "Who wants to be a pilot?" Hamilton added. "Because of me?" Maria asked. "Because you showed her that heroes are real," Sarachin said. Maria stood up slowly. She walked to the window and looked out at her plane. It was still sitting there, waiting. "If I agree to fly you to London," she said, "will I get to talk to Isabella?" "She's going to be at the charity event tomorrow," Hamilton said. "She's flying in with Miguel tonight." Maria turned around. "She's coming to London?" "She wants to meet her hero," Dr. Vasquez said. "And tell her thank you," James Mitchell added. "For saving her life," Sarachin said. "For showing her that brave people exist," Detective Mendez said. "For inspiring her to dream big," Hamilton said. Maria looked at all of them. These people had been looking for her for 3 years. They wanted her to lead a program that would save children's lives. They thought she was a hero. Maybe it was time to stop running from the truth. "Okay," Maria said quietly. "Okay, what?" Hamilton asked. "Okay, I'll fly you to London." All 5 people smiled. "But I want to know everything," Maria said. "I want to know what really happened to Miguel. I want to know how Isabella is doing. I want to know about this program you want me to lead." "Deal," Hamilton said. "And I want to talk to Isabella myself," Maria said. "I want to hear her voice." "She would love that," Dr. Vasquez said. Maria walked toward the door. "Then let's go? We have a flight to catch." As they walked back to the plane, Maria felt different. The weight she had been carrying for 3 years was starting to lift. She still didn't remember everything clearly, but she was starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, she really was a hero. Even if she didn't feel like one yet, the flight to London started smoothly. Maria felt more relaxed than she had in years. But as they flew over France, she still had so many questions. "I need to understand something," Maria said over the plane's intercom. "If everything went well that night, why don't I remember it right?" Lewis Hamilton unbuckled his seatbelt and walked to the cockpit. "Can I sit here?" he asked, pointing to the co-pilot seat. "Sure," Maria said. Tom Bradley was in the back, giving them privacy. Hamilton sat down and looked out at the clouds below. "Have you ever heard of survivor's guilt?" he asked. "No," Maria said. "It's when someone feels bad for surviving something when other people didn't," Hamilton explained. "Or when good things happen to you, but bad things happen to others. Like what happened to Miguel," Maria said. "Exactly," Hamilton said. "You saved Isabella's life. That was amazing. But Miguel still got arrested. His family was still torn apart. Your mind couldn't handle the mixed feelings." Maria thought about this. "So my brain made up a story where I failed?" "Your brain tried to protect you," Hamilton said. "It's easier to feel bad about failing than to feel bad about succeeding when someone else suffers." "That's crazy," Maria said. "Trauma makes people do crazy things," Hamilton said. "I know something about that." Hamilton told Maria about his friend Jules Bianchi, another Formula One driver who died in a crash in 2015. "After Jules died, I had nightmares for months," Hamilton said. "I kept dreaming that I was in the crash instead of him. My brain was trying to process why I lived, and he didn't." "How did you get better?" Maria asked. "I talked to someone. A doctor who helps people with trauma," Hamilton said. "And I started doing things to honor Jules's memory. That's actually how I started my foundation. To help sick children." "Jules loved kids," Hamilton said. "He always visited children's hospitals when we traveled. After he died, I wanted to continue that work." Maria was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, "What really happened to Miguel after that night?" Hamilton smiled. "That's a good story. Miguel was in jail for 3 days. His lawyer said he might go to prison for 10 years. That's terrible," Maria said. "But then something amazing happened," Hamilton continued. "The hospital where Isabella had surgery decided to pay for all her medical care. The whole hospital. Well, the doctors and nurses who worked that night started a fund," Hamilton said. "Dr. Vasquez, James Mitchell, Sarah Chun, even Detective Mendez donated money." "What about me?" Maria asked. Hamilton looked surprised. "You don't remember?" "Remember what?" "You donated your entire payment for that flight," Hamilton said. $2,000. It was all the money you had saved. Maria stared at him. "I did. You came to the hospital the next morning," Hamilton said. "You gave the money to Miguel's wife. You said you couldn't take payment for just doing your job." "I don't remember that at all," Maria said. "Miguel's wife, Carmen, started crying," Hamilton continued. "She said you were an angel sent by God." Maria felt tears in her eyes. "Why can't I remember the good parts?" "Because the guilt was too strong," Hamilton said. "Your mind focused on the bad things and blocked out the good things." "What happened next?" "The hospital's legal team looked at Miguel's case," Hamilton said. "They proved that he was a victim, not a criminal. The drug dealers had threatened to hurt Isabella if Miguel didn't help them. So Miguel didn't go to prison. He spent 1 week in jail," Hamilton said. "Then the charges were dropped. But he lost his job because of the arrest." "That's not fair," Maria said. "That's what I thought too," Hamilton said. "So I hired him." "You hired Miguel?" "My foundation needed someone who understood what poor families go through," Hamilton explained. "Miguel was perfect for the job." "What does he do?" "He helps families navigate the medical system," Hamilton said. "He makes sure they get the care they need without having to make deals with bad people." "And Isabella?" "She's amazing," Hamilton said. "Smart, funny, brave. She plays piano now. She wants to learn 5 languages. And she wants to be a pilot. Because of me. She says Captain Santos is the bravest person in the world," Hamilton said. "She has a picture of you on her bedroom wall." "Hey, picture of me? From the newspaper," Hamilton said. "The day after the flight, you were front-page news. Hero pilot saves girl's life in hurricane." Maria shook her head. "I still don't remember any of this." "Your trauma therapist says that's normal," Hamilton said. "My what?" Hamilton looked embarrassed. "I've been paying for trauma therapy for you," he said quietly. "What do you mean?" "After you disappeared, I hired a private investigator to find you," Hamilton explained. "When we found you in Monaco, I learned about your nightmares. About how you thought you had failed. You've been watching me." "Not watching," Hamilton said quickly. "Just making sure you were okay. I set up therapy sessions for you with Dr. Patricia Williams. She's one of the best trauma specialists in Europe." Maria thought for a moment. "Is Dr. Williams the woman I've been talking to once a month?" "Yes," Hamilton said. "I told her you might not remember the sessions clearly. Trauma can affect memory. I thought those were just regular checkups," Maria said. "The company said they were required for pilots." "I arranged that through your employer," Hamilton said. "I wanted to help, but I didn't want to upset you more." Maria felt overwhelmed. "You've been taking care of me for 3 years." "Isabella asked me to," Hamilton said simply. "Isabella asked you to. When she found out you had disappeared, she cried for hours," Hamilton said. "She said Captain Santos must be very sad to run away. She asked me to find you and make sure you were okay. A 7-year-old girl asked you to take care of me. She's 10 now," Hamilton said. "And she still asks about you every time I see her." Maria had to pull over to a small airport in France. She needed a few minutes to process everything. "There's more," Hamilton said as they sat on the runway. "More. The night you saved Isabella wasn't just any storm," Hamilton said. "It was Hurricane Miranda, the worst hurricane to hit Brazil in 50 years. "You told me that already," Maria said. "But I didn't tell you this," Hamilton said. "The meteorologist said the storm had winds of 180 kilometers per hour. No pilot in Sao Paulo would fly that night." "Except me," Maria said. "The airport manager called your flight impossible," Hamilton continued. "He said no plane should have been able to fly in those conditions." "But I did fly," Maria said. "With a failing engine," Hamilton said. "The mechanics found the problem the next day. You flew through a hurricane with an engine that was losing power every minute." Maria felt sick. I could have killed everyone. But you didn't, Hamilton said. You used all your skill and experience to keep that plane in the air. The aviation authorities investigated the flight for 6 months. What did they find? They said it was the most impressive example of piloting skill they had ever seen, Hamilton said. They want to give you the International Aviation Bravery Award. I don't want an award, Maria said. The award comes with 50,000 euros, Hamilton said. You could donate it to children's charities. Maria was quiet for a long time. Then, she said, "Can I ask you something personal?" "Of course," Hamilton said. "Why do you care so much about this?" "About me?" Hamilton looked out at the French countryside. "Because Isabella Rodriguez changed my life," he said. "How?" "Before that night, I was just a race car driver who donated money to charity," Hamilton said. "It felt good, but it wasn't personal." "What changed?" "Meeting Isabella," Hamilton said. "Seeing how brave she was. How brave her father was, even when he made mistakes. How brave you were." "I don't understand," Maria said. "That night showed me what real courage looks like," Hamilton said. "It's not about winning races or being famous. It's about ordinary people doing extraordinary things when someone needs help. Like what you're doing now," Maria said. "Like what we're all doing," Hamilton said. Dr. Vasquez left her high-paying job to work at a children's hospital. James Mitchell started a program to train paramedics for emergency flights. Saracen opened a clinic for poor families. And Detective Mendez, he started a task force to protect families from criminals who take advantage of their desperation, Hamilton said. "Everyone changed because of that night," Maria said. "Everyone except you," Hamilton said. "You disappeared before you could see how much good came from your courage." Maria started the plane's engines again. "How much good?" The Isabella Rodriguez Foundation has helped over 500 families, Hamilton said. The emergency flight program has saved 47 children's lives. 47 children. All because you showed us what was possible, Hamilton said. You proved that one person's courage can change everything. As they took off again, Maria felt something shifting inside her. For 3 years, she had seen herself as a failure. But these people saw her as an inspiration. "Hamilton," she said as they climbed toward London. "Yes, when we get to London, I want to call Isabella. She would love that," Hamilton said. "And I want to know everything about this program you want me to lead." "Deal," Hamilton said. "But I have one condition," Maria said. "What's that?" "If I do this job, I want to visit every family we help," Maria said. "I want to meet the children. I want to make sure they know someone cares about them." Hamilton smiled. "Isabella is going to love hearing that." "Why?" "Because that's exactly what she hoped you would say." As London appeared in the distance, Maria realized that tomorrow would change her life forever. She was about to meet the little girl who had been calling her a hero for 3 years. The little girl who was right. The plane landed at London Heathrow Airport as the sun was setting. Maria had never felt so nervous and excited at the same time. Tomorrow she would meet Isabella Rodriguez, the little girl who had been calling her a hero for 3 years. But as they walked through the airport, Lewis Hamilton stopped suddenly. "There's something else I need to tell you," he said quietly. Maria looked at him. "More surprises?" "This one is big," Hamilton said. He looked nervous, which was strange. Maria had never seen him look nervous before. "What is it?" Dr. Vasquez asked. She and the others had caught up with them. Hamilton took a deep breath. "Isabella Rodriguez isn't just any little girl to me," he said. "What do you mean?" Maria asked. "She's my goddaughter," Hamilton said. Everyone stared at him. Even Dr. Vasquez, James Mitchell, Saracen, and Detective Mendez looked shocked. "What?" Saracen said. "Miguel Rodriguez worked at the Monaco Grand Prix for 15 years, Hamilton explained. "He was part of the crew that maintained the safety barriers. We became friends." "You never told us this," Detective Mendez said. "I didn't want to make things complicated," Hamilton said. "When Isabella got sick, I wanted to help. But Miguel was too proud to take money from me. So he found another way," Dr. Vasquez said, understanding. "The worst way," Hamilton said sadly. "If I had pushed harder to help, Miguel never would have made that deal with the drug dealers." Maria sat down on a bench in the airport. "You blame yourself too. Every day," Hamilton said. "Just like you blamed yourself. But it wasn't your fault," James Mitchell said. "Miguel made his own choices. And it wasn't Maria's fault either," Saracen added. Hamilton sat next to Maria. That's why I've been so determined to find you. He said, Isabella is my goddaughter. You saved her life. You're part of our family now. Family? Maria asked. Miguel and Carmen consider you Isabella's guardian angel, Hamilton said. They named their second daughter after you. They have another daughter, Maria Isabella Rodriguez, Hamilton said. She's 2 years old now. Isabella calls her little captain. Maria started crying. She couldn't help it. For 3 years, she thought she had destroyed a family. Now she learned she was part of one. There's more, Dr. Vasquez said gently. I can't take any more surprises, Maria said. This one is good, James Mitchell said. Really good. Detective Mendez pulled out his phone. Miguel and Isabella are here in London. They arrived this morning. They're here, Maria asked. They're at the hotel, Saracen said. Waiting for you. Isabella has been practicing what she wants to say to you, Hamilton said. She's been working on her English. Her English? She's learning English, French, and Portuguese, Hamilton said. She says pilots need to speak many languages. Maria stood up. I want to see her now. Are you sure? Dr. Vasquez asked. It's been a long day. I've been waiting 3 years, Maria said. I can't wait anymore. They took a taxi to the Savoy Hotel in central London. Maria's hands shook during the entire ride. She was about to meet the little girl who had changed her life without even knowing it. In the hotel lobby, Hamilton called Miguel's room. We're here, he said in Spanish. Then he switched to English. Maria is with us. Yes, she's ready. Okay, we'll come up. They rode the elevator to the 5th floor. Maria's heart was beating so fast she thought everyone could hear it. Room 512, Hamilton said. They walked down the long hallway. Maria felt like she was walking toward her destiny. Hamilton knocked on the door. It opened immediately. A man stood there with tears in his eyes. He was about 40 years old, with kind eyes and calloused hands. This was Miguel Rodriguez. Captain Santos, he said in English with a thick Spanish accent. Is it really you? Yes, Maria whispered. Miguel hugged her tightly. Thank you, he said. Thank you for saving my daughter's life. I don't remember it very well, Maria said. I remember everything, Miguel said. Come in, please. Isabella is waiting. The hotel room was beautiful, with a view of the Thames River. But Maria only had eyes for the little girl sitting on the couch. Isabella Rodriguez was no longer the pale, sick child from Maria's memories. She was a healthy, beautiful 10-year-old with bright eyes and a huge smile. She was wearing a small pilot's uniform, complete with a captain's hat. Captain Santos. Isabella jumped up and ran to Maria. You came. Isabella hugged Maria around the waist. Maria knelt down to Isabella's level. Hello, Isabella, Maria said. You're so big now. I'm 10 years old, Isabella said proudly. And I can speak 3 languages. Listen. Hello, Captain Santos. Hola, Capitan Santos. Bonjour, Capitaine Santos. That's amazing, Maria said. I'm learning to be a pilot like you, Isabella said. Papa bought me a flight simulator game. I can land a plane now. On the computer? Maria asked. Yes. Do you want to see? Isabella grabbed Maria's hand and pulled her toward a laptop on the table. For the next hour, Isabella showed Maria everything she had learned about flying. She knew about different types of planes, weather patterns, and airport codes. She was incredibly smart. Why do you want to be a pilot? Maria asked. Because pilots save people, Isabella said. Like you saved me. But there are other ways to save people, Maria said. You could be a doctor like Dr. Vasquez. I want to be both, Isabella said. A pilot and a doctor. Then I can fly to help sick children and fix them too. Maria smiled. That's a wonderful dream. Uncle Louis says dreams come true if you work hard, Isabella said. Uncle Louis. That's what I call him, Isabella said, pointing at Hamilton. He's not really my uncle, but he's like family. He told me he's your godfather, Maria said. He is, Isabella said. He comes to all my birthday parties. He teaches me about cars. And he promised to take me to a Formula One race when I'm older. That sounds exciting, Maria said. Isabella's expression became serious. Captain Santos, can I tell you something? Of course, Maria said. I know you were sad after you saved me, Isabella said. Maria was surprised. How do you know that? Uncle Louis told me, Isabella said. He said you thought you did something wrong, but you didn't do anything wrong. How do you know? Maria asked. Because I'm alive, Isabella said simply. If you did something wrong, I would be dead. But I'm not dead. I'm here talking to you. Maria felt tears in her eyes again. This little girl was so wise. I drew you a picture, Isabella said. She ran to her backpack and pulled out a folded piece of paper. The drawing showed a small airplane flying through dark clouds. Lightning was all around the plane, but inside the cockpit was a stick figure with long hair and a big smile. At the bottom, Isabella had written Captain Santos, my hero, in careful letters. I drew this after Papa told me what happened that night, Isabella said. I don't remember the flight very well because I was so sick, but Papa told me how brave you were. What did he tell you? Maria asked. He said the storm was so bad that all the other pilots were scared to fly, Isabella said. But you weren't. Scared because a little girl needed help. I was scared, Maria said honestly. But you flew anyway, Isabella said. That's what makes you brave. Brave people are still scared, but they do the right thing anyway. Maria looked at this amazing little girl. Isabella understood courage better than most adults. Isabella, Maria said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I already told you. A pilot and a doctor, Isabella said. But why? Because of you, Isabella said. You showed me that one person can save someone's life. I want to save lives too. You already saved my life, Maria said. How? Isabella asked. By reminding me that I'm not a failure, Maria said. By showing me that good things can come from scary situations. Isabella hugged Maria again. You're not a failure, Captain Santos. You're the best pilot in the world. How do you know? Maria asked. Because you saved me, Isabella said. And now you're going to save other children too. What do you mean? Uncle Louis told me about the new program, Isabella said. The Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service. Maria looked at Hamilton. You told her. She deserved to know. Hamilton said. It was her idea. My idea? Isabella asked. You said you wished Captain Santos could help more children like her, Miguel said. You said she was too good to help just one person. So Uncle Louis made it happen, Isabella said. He's very good at making things happen. Are you going to do it? Isabella asked Maria. Are you going to be the head pilot? Maria looked around the room. Hamilton, Dr. Vasquez, James Mitchell, Sarah Chun, Detective Mendez, Miguel, and Isabella were all watching her. They all believed in her. They all wanted her to say yes. I'm scared, Maria said honestly. That's okay, Isabella said. Remember what I said about brave people. They're still scared, but they do the right thing anyway, Maria repeated. So what's the right thing? Isabella asked. Maria thought about all the children who needed help. Children like Isabella, whose families couldn't afford medical care. Children who might die if they couldn't get to the hospital fast enough. The right thing is to help them, Maria said. Then you'll do it. Isabella asked hopefully. Yes, Maria said. I'll do it. Isabella cheered and hugged Maria again. Everyone else applauded. But I have one condition, Maria said. What? Hamilton asked. I want Isabella to be my co-pilot. Maria said. Isabella's eyes went wide. Really? When you're old enough and finished with your pilot training, Maria said. I want you to fly with me. To save children? Isabella asked. To save children, Maria confirmed. That's the best day of my life. Isabella said. As everyone celebrated, Maria realized that her nightmare had finally become a dream. She wasn't running from her past anymore. She was flying toward her future, that a future where she would save lives. Just like she saved Isabella, that a future where Isabella would fly beside her. Saving even more lives, that a future that started with a little girl's courage and a pilot's choice to be brave. The next morning came too quickly. Maria had barely slept, but she felt more awake than she had in years. Today was the charity event. Today she would officially become the head pilot of the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service. She stood in her hotel room, looking at herself in the mirror. She was wearing her best pilot uniform. The same uniform she wore 3 years ago when she saved Isabella's life. That a knock came at her door. Maria? It's Hamilton. Are you ready? Maria opened the door. Hamilton was wearing a sharp black suit. As ready as I'll ever be, she said. How are you feeling? He asked. Scared, Maria said honestly. But Isabella taught me that's okay. They walked to the elevator together. There's one more thing I need to tell you before we go, Hamilton said. Maria stopped walking. Please tell me there are no more surprises. This one is the biggest, Hamilton said. But it's good. Really good. What is it? The charity event tonight isn't just about announcing the program, Hamilton said. Someone made a huge donation to fund it. How huge? Maria asked. $5 million. Hamilton said that Maria's mouth fell open. $5 million. The donor wants to remain anonymous, Hamilton said. But they left a note. Hamilton handed her a folded piece of paper. Maria opened it and read. For the pilot who proved that heroes are real, and for the little girl who reminded us all that miracles happen when brave people make brave choices. This money will help Captain Santos save hundreds of children, just like she saved Isabella, from someone who believes in second chances. Who could donate that much money? Maria asked. I have no idea, Hamilton said. The lawyers won't tell me anything. They rode the elevator down to the lobby. Dr. Vasquez, James Mitchell, Sarah Chun, and Detective Mendez were waiting for them. Ready for the big day? Dr. Vasquez asked. I think so, Maria said. You're going to be amazing, Sarah Chun said. Just remember, James Mitchell said, you're not doing this alone. We're all here to help. The Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service is a team effort, Detective Mendez added. They took a taxi to the Royal Festival Hall, where the charity event was being held. As they pulled up, Maria saw hundreds of people walking into the building. There are so many people, Maria said nervously. They're all here because of you, Hamilton said. Because of what you did for Isabella. Inside the building, the main hall was decorated with photos of children. Some of the photos showed sick children in hospitals. Others showed the same children healthy and happy. These are all the children we've helped so far, Dr. Vasquez explained. 47 children, Sarah Chin said. All alive because of the foundation Isabella's story inspired. Maria walked from photo to photo. Each picture had a story. A little boy who needed heart surgery. A girl who broke her back in an accident. Twin babies who were born too early. They all got emergency flights to hospitals. Maria asked. All of them, James Mitchell said. And after tonight, we'll be able to help hundreds more. At the center of the photo display was a large picture of Isabella Rodriguez. Not the sick little girl from 3 years ago, but the healthy, happy 10-year-old Maria had met last night. Isabella was wearing her pilot uniform and smiling at the camera. Under the photo was a sign that read, Isabella Rodriguez, the girl who started it all. She's going to love seeing this, Hamilton said. Where is she? Maria asked. Getting ready backstage, Hamilton said. She has a surprise for you. Another surprise? This one you'll like, Dr. Vasquez said that a woman in a beautiful dress approached them. Excuse me, are you Captain Santos? Yes, Maria said. I'm Rebecca Thompson from the London Times, the woman said. Could I ask you a few questions? About what? Maria asked. About your heroic flight 3 years ago, Rebecca said. And about the new program you're starting. Maria looked at Hamilton. He nodded encouragingly. I don't know if I'm a hero, Maria said. You flew through a hurricane to save a child's life, Rebecca said. If that's not heroic, what is? I was just doing my job, Maria said. But you chose to keep flying when other pilots wouldn't, Rebecca said. That wasn't just your job. That was courage. How did you hear about the story? Maria asked. Isabella Rodriguez called my newspaper last week, Rebecca said. Isabella called you. She said people needed to know about Captain Santos, Rebecca said. She said you were too modest to tell your own story, so she would tell it for you. Maria smiled. She's an amazing little girl. She told me you're going to help hundreds of children, Rebecca said. How does that feel? Maria thought about the question. 3 years ago, she thought she was a failure. Today, she was starting a program to save lives. It feels like a second chance, Maria said. A second chance for what? To be the person I always wanted to be, Maria said. Someone who helps others. After the interview, Hamilton led Maria backstage. They found Isabella practicing a speech in front of Miguel and Carmen. Captain Santos. Isabella ran to Maria and hugged her. Are you nervous about tonight? Maria asked. A little, Isabella said. But Papa says being nervous means something is important to you. Your Papa is very wise, Maria said. I wrote a speech about you, Isabella said. Do you want to hear it? I would love to, Maria said. Isabella stood up straight and began to speak. 3 years ago, I was dying. My heart was very sick, and the doctor said I needed surgery right away. But there was a big storm, and all the pilots said it was too dangerous to fly. Except for one pilot, Captain Maria Santos. She looked at my papa and said, "Don't worry, I'll get your daughter to the hospital." Captain Santos flew through the worst storm in 50 years. Lightning was everywhere. The wind was trying to push her plane down, but she never gave up. She saved my life that night. But she did more than that. She showed me what courage looks like. She taught me that heroes are real. Now Captain Santos is going to help hundreds of children, just like she helped me. She's going to prove that one person can change the world. My name is Isabella Rodriguez, and Captain Maria Santos is my hero. Maria had tears in her eyes when Isabella finished. "That was beautiful," she said. "I practiced for 2 weeks," Isabella said proudly. "Ladies and gentlemen," a voice announced over the loudspeaker, "the event will begin in 5 minutes." Hamilton put his hand on Maria's shoulder. "Are you ready for this?" Maria looked around at all the people who had become her family. Hamilton, Dr. Vasquez, James Mitchell, Sarah Chun, Detective Mendez, Miguel, Carmen, and Isabella. They all believed in her. 3 years ago, I thought my life was over, Maria said. "I thought I was a failure who didn't deserve to be a pilot. And now?" Hamilton asked. "Now I know that sometimes our worst moments lead to our best opportunities," Maria said. "What do you mean?" Isabella asked. "If I hadn't been so sad about that night, I never would have learned how much good came from it," Maria explained. "I never would have met all of you. I never would have gotten this chance to help more children." "So you're glad it happened?" Miguel asked. "I'm glad it led me here," Maria said. "To this moment, to this family, to this opportunity to save lives." "Hey," stagehand approached them. "Captain Santos, you're on in 2 minutes." Maria took a deep breath. She looked at Isabella one more time. "Thank you," she said to the little girl. "For what?" Isabella asked. "For teaching me that heroes don't have to be perfect," Maria said. "They just have to care enough to try." "You're welcome," Isabella said. "Now go save the world, Captain Santos." Maria laughed. "I'll start with one child at a time." As she walked toward the stage, Maria heard the announcer introducing her. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the head pilot of the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service, the woman who flew through a hurricane to save a child's life, Captain Maria Santos." The crowd erupted in applause. Maria walked onto the stage and saw hundreds of people standing and clapping for her. I in the front row. She saw Isabella wearing her pilot uniform, clapping harder than anyone else. Maria smiled and waved. For the first time in 3 years, she felt like the hero everyone said she was. Not because she was perfect, but because she cared enough to keep trying. The woman who thought she had failed had finally learned the truth, sometimes the most important. Journeys begin with a single choice to be brave, and tonight, surrounded by the family she never knew she had, Maria Santos was ready to make that choice again and again. For Isabella, for all the children who needed help, for herself, the hero's journey was just beginning. Maria stood on the stage looking out at hundreds of faces. The spotlights were bright, but she could see Isabella in the front row, smiling and clapping. That gave her courage. "Thank you," Maria said into the microphone. 3 years ago, I thought I was just doing my job. I never imagined that one flight would change so many lives." The crowd applauded. Maria felt less nervous now. "Tonight, we're announcing the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service," Maria continued. "This program will provide free emergency flights for children who need urgent medical care." More applause filled the hall. "But I want you to know something," Maria said. "I'm not the real hero of this story. The real hero is a 10-year-old girl named Isabella Rodriguez." The spotlight moved to Isabella in the audience. She waved shyly as people clapped for her. "Isabella taught me that heroes come in all sizes," Maria said. "Sometimes the smallest people have the biggest courage." Isabella stood up and walked onto the stage. She wasn't supposed to, but Maria was glad to see her. "Hi everyone," Isabella said into the microphone. "I want to tell you about Captain Santos." The crowd quieted down to listen. 3 years ago, I was very sick, Isabella said. My heart wasn't working right. The doctor said I needed surgery or I would die. Isabella spoke clearly and confidently, even though English wasn't her first language. There was a terrible storm that night. All the pilots said it was too dangerous to fly. But Captain Santos said she would take me to the hospital anyway. The crowd was completely silent now. She flew through lightning and wind and rain. Isabella continued. She saved my life, but she doesn't think she's a hero. Isabella turned to look at Maria. Captain Santos, you are the bravest person I know. And now you're going to save hundreds. More children. That makes you a superhero. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers. Maria hugged Isabella tightly. Thank you, Maria whispered. Lewis Hamilton walked onto the stage carrying a large check. Ladies and gentlemen, Hamilton said, I'm proud to announce that the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service has received a donation of $5 million. The crowd gasped and cheered even louder. This generous donation will allow us to help children all over Europe, Hamilton continued. The donor wishes to remain anonymous, but they left a message. Hamilton read from a card. For the pilot who proved that heroes are real, and for the little girl who reminded us all that miracles happen when brave people make brave choices. Maria felt tears in her eyes. Someone believed in her enough to donate $5 million. But that's not all, Hamilton said with a big smile. The donor has asked to reveal their identity tonight. What? Maria said. She wasn't expecting this. Ladies and gentlemen, Hamilton said, please welcome the anonymous donor. Maria looked toward the wings of the stage, expecting to see a rich businessman or maybe a celebrity. Instead, she saw Miguel Rodriguez walking onto the stage. Miguel, Maria said, confused. You're the donor? The crowd looked confused too. Miguel was a working man. How could he have $5 million? Miguel walked to the microphone. He was crying, but he was smiling too. No, I'm not the donor, Miguel said. But I know who is. He turned to look at Maria. 3 years ago, Captain Santos donated her entire payment for that flight to help my family, Miguel said. $2,000. It was all the money she had saved. The crowd murmured in surprise. But Captain Santos did something else that night, Miguel continued. Something she doesn't remember. What? Maria asked. You gave me your business card, Miguel said. You told me that if I ever needed help, I should call you. Maria tried to remember, but she couldn't. 6 months later, when Isabella was fully recovered, I called that number, Miguel said. But you had disappeared. Your phone was disconnected. I moved to Monaco, Maria said quietly. I know that now, Miguel said. But then, I was worried about you. Isabella kept asking about Captain Santos. She wanted to send you a thank you letter. So what did you do? Hamilton asked. I used the money Captain Santos gave us to hire a private investigator, Miguel said. I wanted to find her and say thank you. The crowd was listening intently. The investigator found Captain Santos in Monaco, Miguel continued. But he also found something else. He discovered that Captain Santos had given up her career as a rescue pilot. She was flying rich people around instead of saving lives. I thought I wasn't good enough anymore, Maria said. The investigator learned about Captain Santos's nightmares, Miguel said. About how she thought she had failed us. How she thought she had killed my daughter. Maria felt embarrassed that so many people were hearing about her problems. That's when I made a decision, Miguel said. I was going to save Captain Santos, just like she saved Isabella. How? Maria asked. Miguel smiled. I bought a lottery ticket. The crowd laughed, thinking it was a joke. I'm serious, Miguel said. Every week for 3 years, I bought lottery tickets. I told Isabella we were going to win enough money to help Captain Santos remember that she's a hero. And you won? Dr. Vasquez asked from the audience. 2 months ago, Miguel said, I won. The Euro Millions lottery. 57 million euros. The crowd gasped. This was incredible. The first thing I did was call Lewis Hamilton, Miguel continued. I told him I had the money to start the program Isabella always talked about. What program? Maria asked. Isabella took the microphone. The program to help Captain Santos save more children, she said. I told Papa that you were too sad to save people. But if we could show you how many children needed help, you would remember how to be brave again. Maria stared at this amazing little girl. You planned all of this. Papa and I planned it together, Isabella said. Uncle Lewis helped too. Hamilton nodded. When Miguel called me, I knew it was meant to be. I had been looking for Captain Santos for a year. Miguel had been looking for her for 3 years. So you all worked together to find me? Maria asked. We worked together to remind you who you really are, Dr. Vasquez said. walking onto the stage with the others. "The emergency flight that brought us all together wasn't an accident," James Mitchell said. "We arranged it," Sarah Chun admitted. "We needed a way to get you to face the truth about that night," Detective Mendez said. Maria looked at all of them. "You tricked me. We saved you," Isabella said simply. "Just like you saved me. But I thought you all hated me," Maria said. "I thought. You blamed me for what happened to Miguel." "We blame you for disappearing," Hamilton said. "We blame you for forgetting how amazing you are. We blame you for wasting 3 years feeling sorry for yourself," Dr. Vasquez said with a smile. "But mostly," Miguel said, "we blame you for not calling me back when I left you 57 voicemail messages." The crowd laughed. Even Maria laughed. "You left me 57 messages?" Maria asked. "One for every €1,000,000 I won," Miguel said. "I kept saying the same thing. Captain Santos, please call me. My daughter wants to thank her hero." "I changed my phone number," Maria said. "I was trying to forget everything." "Well, now you remember," Isabella said. "And now you can save more children." "But the $5 million, Maria said. "That's too much money." "It's not enough," Miguel said. "I'm giving 10 million more next year. And 10 million the year after that." "Miguel, you can't give away all your lottery money," Maria protested. "Why not?" Miguel asked. "Money can't buy what you gave me. You gave me my daughter's life. This money will help you give life to hundreds more children." Isabella hugged Maria again. "Do you understand now, Captain Santos?" "Understand what?" Maria asked. "You never stopped being a hero," Isabella said. "You just forgot for a little while." Maria looked out at the crowd. Everyone was standing and applauding. They were all here because of Isabella's story, because of a little girl who never stopped believing in her hero. "There's one more surprise," Hamilton said. "More?" Maria asked. "The British Aviation Authority wants to give you an award," Hamilton said. "The International Aviation Bravery Medal." "I told you I don't want awards," Maria said. "This one comes with £100,000, Hamilton said. "You can donate it to the program." Maria smiled. "In that case, I accept." And Isabella said, "I have a surprise too." "What's that?" Maria asked. Isabella pulled out a folded piece of paper. "I wrote you a letter. I've been saving it for 3 years." Maria opened the letter. It was written in careful handwriting. "Dear Captain Santos, thank you for saving my life. I know you are sad, but please don't be sad. You are the best pilot in the world. Someday, I want to be a pilot like you. I want to save children too. Papa says you disappeared because you think you did something wrong. But you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. I am alive because of you. I am happy because of you. I go to school and play piano and laugh with my friends because of you. Please come back, Captain Santos. Other children need you too. Love, Isabella Rodriguez, age 7P.S. I drew you a picture of us flying together when I'm older. At the bottom of the letter was a drawing of 2 stick figures in an airplane. One was labeled Captain Santos, and the other was labeled Isabella co-pilot. Maria was crying openly now. "You wrote this when you were 7. Right after I got out of the hospital," Isabella said. "I knew you would come back someday." "How did you know?" Maria asked. "Because heroes always come back," Isabella said. "That's what heroes do." Maria hugged Isabella one more time. Then she turned to face the crowd. "3 years ago, I made a choice to fly through a storm," Maria said. "Tonight, I'm making another choice. I'm choosing to be the hero this little girl always believed I was." The crowd erupted in the loudest applause of the night. "The Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service starts tomorrow," Maria announced. "And my first co-pilot will be Isabella Rodriguez, as soon as she's old enough to fly." Isabella cheered and hugged Maria as the celebration continued around them. Maria realized that sometimes the greatest gifts come wrapped in the worst experiences. Her worst night had become the foundation for the best work of her life, and it all started with a little girl who never stopped believing in heroes. Even when the hero had stopped believing in herself. 6 months later, Maria stood in the hangar of the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service headquarters in London. She was looking at 3 brand new helicopters and 2 small planes, all painted bright red with white crosses on the sides. "Captain Santos," Isabella's voice echoed. Through the hangar, Maria turned to see Isabella running toward her, wearing a small pilot uniform. Behind her walked Miguel, Carmen, and a tiny girl with curly hair. Isabella. Maria hugged her goddaughter tightly. How was school? Boring, Isabella said with a big smile. I want to skip to flying lessons. You have to finish regular school first, Maria said. That's the rule. But I already know how to read maps and calculate fuel, Isabella protested. And I'm very proud of you, Maria said. But math and science are important too. Carmen laughed. She argues with her teachers about flight patterns now. Isabella Rodriguez. Miguel said sternly. You will finish school like a normal child. But I'm not normal, Isabella said. I'm going to be a rescue pilot. You're 10 years old, Carmen said. You have 8 years before you can even start flight training. Isabella sighed dramatically. 8 years is forever. Maria knelt down. To the little girl with curly hair. And who is this? This is Maria Isabella Rodriguez, Isabella said proudly. My little sister. We call her Little Captain. 2-year-old Maria Isabella looked exactly like Isabella had at that age. She had the same bright eyes and the same determined expression. Hello, Little Captain, Maria said. Do you want to be a pilot too? Plane, Little Captain said, pointing at the helicopters. She says that every time she sees anything that flies, Miguel said. Even birds. She's going to be my co-pilot when she's older, Isabella said. Then we'll have 3 pilots in the family. 3, Maria asked. You, me, and Little Captain, Isabella said. We'll save all the children in the world. Maria smiled. In the past 6 months, the Captain Santos Emergency Medical Flight Service had completed 63 emergency flights. They had saved 63 children's lives. Speaking of saving children, Carmen said, how many flights do you have this week? 7, Maria said. A little boy in Scotland needs heart surgery. Twin girls in Ireland were in a car accident. A baby in Wales was born too early. Are you flying all of them yourself? Miguel asked. Dr. Vasquez is flying with me to Scotland, Maria said. James Mitchell is taking the Ireland flight. Sarah Chun is handling Wales. The team had grown. They now had 12 pilots, 8 doctors, 15 nurses, and 6 paramedics. All volunteers. All inspired by Isabella's story. Where's Uncle Louis? Isabella asked. He's racing in Belgium this weekend, Maria said. But he'll be back next week. Hamilton visited the headquarters every month. He was still Isabella's godfather, but now he was also Maria's closest friend. He called Maria every week to check on the program and to hear about the children they had saved. Can we see the new plane? Isabella asked. Which new plane? Maria asked. The one Uncle Louis bought us, Isabella said excitedly. Maria led them to the newest addition to their fleet. It was a larger plane, capable of flying longer distances. On the side, it said the Isabella Rodriguez, flying hope across Europe. Uncle Louis named it after me, Isabella said, running her hands along the plane's side. He said you deserved to have your name on the plane that started it all, Maria said. When can I fly in it? Isabella asked. When you're 18, Maria said firmly. But I'll be ready before then, Isabella protested. The law says 18, Miguel said. Captain Santos follows all the laws. As they walked around the hangar, Maria's phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and smiled. Hello, Dr. Williams, Maria said. Hello, Maria, said the voice of her trauma therapist. How are you feeling this week? Much better, Maria said. I'm starting to remember more good things about that night. That's wonderful progress, Dr. Williams said. Are the nightmares still happening? Only once this month, Maria said. And in the dream, I save Isabella instead of crashing. That's your real memory coming back, Dr. Williams said. Your mind is healing. After the phone call, Isabella looked curious. Who was that? My doctor, Maria said. She helps me remember things correctly. Are you sick? Isabella asked, worried. Not sick, Maria said. Just confused sometimes. But I'm getting better. Good, Isabella said. Because we need you healthy to save children. They walked to Maria's office, where the walls were covered with thank you letters from families they had helped. Each letter had a photo of a healthy, happy child. Look at all the lives you've saved, Carmen said. We've saved, Maria corrected. This is a team effort. Isabella pointed to a new letter on the desk. What's that one? Maria picked up the letter and read it aloud. Dear Captain Santos, my name is Emma Walsh. I'm 8 years old. Last month, I fell off my bike and hurt my head really bad. My mama was scared I was going to die, but then you came in your red helicopter. You flew me to the hospital so fast. The doctors fixed my head, and now I'm okay. I want to be just like you when I grow up. I want to save children too. Thank you for being my hero. Love, Emma Walsh. She wants to be like you," Isabella said proudly. "No," Maria said. "She wants to be like you. You're the one who started all this." "I didn't start anything," Isabella said. "I was just sick." "You were brave," Maria said. "And your bravery inspired everyone else to be brave too." Miguel sat down at the small conference table in Maria's office. "I have some news," he said. "Good news or bad news?" Maria asked. "Good news," Miguel said, smiling. "The Lottery Commission wants to do a documentary about our family." "A documentary?" Carmen asked. "About how winning the lottery changed our lives," Miguel explained. "About how we used the money to help other families." "I don't know," Maria said. "I don't like being on television." "It would help more people learn about the program," Miguel said. "Maybe other lottery winners would donate money too." "What do you think, Isabella?" Maria asked. "I think we should do it," Isabella said. "If it helps save more children. But only if Captain Santos is comfortable," Carmen added. Maria thought about it. 6 months ago, she would have said no immediately. But now she understood that sometimes being uncomfortable was worth it if it helped others. "Okay," Maria said. "We'll do the documentary." "Really?" Isabella asked excitedly. "Really," Maria said. "But you have to promise me something." "What?" Isabella asked. "Don't let fame go to your head," Maria said. "Remember why we're doing this. To save children," Isabella said seriously. "I promise I'll never forget." As they prepared to leave, Isabella hugged Maria goodbye. "Captain Santos." "Yes. Are you happy now?" Isabella asked. Maria looked around at the hangar full of life-saving aircraft. She thought about the 63 children who were alive because of their work. She thought about the hundreds more they would save in the coming years. "Yes," Maria said. "I'm very happy." "Good," Isabella said. "Because you deserve to be happy." "So, do you?" Maria said. "I am happy," Isabella said. "I have my family. I have little Captain. I have Uncle Louis. And I have you. I have everything I need." As the Rodriguez family drove away, Maria walked back into her office. On her desk was a newspaper article about the program. The headline read, "Local Girls' Courage Saves Hundreds of Children." But Maria knew the truth. It wasn't just Isabella's courage that saved those children. It was the courage of everyone who believed in second chances. Miguel's courage to forgive. Hamilton's courage to help. The medical team's courage to volunteer their time. And yes, Maria's courage to believe in herself again. Maria picked up the phone and dialed a familiar number. "Hello, Captain Santos," said Lewis Hamilton's voice. "How was your day?" "Amazing," Maria said. 64 children now." 64? Who was number 64? "A little girl in Manchester," Maria said. "She had a seizure at school. We got her to the hospital in 15 minutes. How is she?" Hamilton asked. "She's going to be fine," Maria said. "Just like Isabella." "Just like Isabella," Hamilton repeated. "I'm proud of you, Maria." "I'm proud of all of us," Maria said. "We make a good team." "The best team," Hamilton agreed. "Isabella is lucky to have you as a role model." "I'm lucky to have her as an inspiration," Maria said. After the call, Maria walked out to the runway, where the red helicopters sat waiting for their next mission. Tomorrow, they would save more lives. Next week, they would save even more. And somewhere in London, a 10-year-old girl was dreaming of the day she would join Captain Santos in the sky, saving children and proving that heroes really do exist. The girl who had never stopped believing in miracles. The girl who had turned her pilot's worst nightmare into her greatest dream. The girl who proved that sometimes the smallest people have the biggest impact on the world. Isabella Rodriguez, the girl who saved her hero. We'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and tell us what city or country you're tuning in from. It's amazing to connect with listeners from around the world who believe in stories of hope and redemption. That if this story touched your heart, please give this video a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more people who need to hear inspiring stories. Like Maria and Isabella's. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest stories. We bring you incredible, true-to-life tales of courage, kindness, and the amazing things that happen when ordinary people do extraordinary things. Most importantly, please please share this video with your friends and family. Stories like this remind us that heroes exist in real life, that second chances are possible, and that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change everything. Let's spread awareness about the power of believing in each other and never giving up hope. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next story.